So we look for other health benefits then of the mind-body connection, and this has been studied in great detail. We have learned that optimistic people have healthier hearts, and here's an article from 2015. A study of 5,000 adults aged 45 to 84 found that the most optimistic people had twice the odds of being in ideal cardiovascular health compared to their pessimistic counterparts. So in this study, cardiovascular health was assessed using 7 metrics. There was blood pressure, body mass index, dietary intake, physical activity, fasting plasma glucose or sugar levels, serum cholesterol, and tobacco use. So these 7 metrics, scores of 0, 1, or 2 points given for poor, intermediate, or ideal. To each of these 7 health metrics for a max score of 14, participants completed surveys to assess mental health and levels of optimism that then would correspond to their score on these 7 health metrics. Total health scores increased in tandem with levels of optimism. People the most optimistic were twice as likely to have ideal cardiovascular health. The association was even stronger when age, race, ethnicity, income, and educational status were factored in or accounted for. Optimists had significantly better blood sugar and total cholesterol, were more physically active, and had healthier body mass indices, and were less likely to smoke compared to their less positive counterparts. There was a significant reduction in death rates at a population level for those optimists, and the study suggested that there was a biobehavioral mechanism involved here where it was in fact that positive emotional state that was predisposing to the higher health indices and significantly reduced death rates of those involved. So an upbeat emotion that's surprisingly good for you. We know that unpleasant emotions for years, such as shame, depression, and anxiety, are linked to poor health. We just learned that positive emotions, optimism, predispose to good health. So then we might ask the question, which positive emotion is in fact best for you? Would that be amusement? Would that be compassion, contentment, joy, love, pride, awe? Which of these might be best for you? A surprising result from a study also published in 2015 showed that the emotion of awe is particularly health generating, and happily awe is easy even for busy people and stressed out people to experience. So this experiment involved 119 students at the University of California, Berkeley, who were assessed for their emotional experiences of 7 emotions: awe, amusement, compassion, contentment, joy, love, pride. Saliva from those students was then analyzed for interleukin-6, a molecule that strongly associates with systemic inflammation, which is against our health. Happy moods were associated with low interleukin-6 levels, with the strongest of these happy moods being for awe. The more awestruck individuals reported being, the lower their interleukin-6. On average, students at Berkeley were experiencing awe at least 3 times per week. What is an awe-inspiring moment? This is one that passes the goosebump test. It can be listening to music, watching a sunset, attending a political rally for those who are so inclined, watching children play. It's different for everyone, but whatever generates that feeling of awe in you is something which is going to maximally promote your health and wellness from a positive mental standpoint. So awe has a pronounced impact on inflammation, and the study advises all of us to seek awe as often as possible. Someone has studied, does charitable giving lead to better health? Is it really better to give than to receive? A growing body of research suggests charitable giving is good for your health. Giving to others reduces stress and strengthens your immune system, which results in better health and longer life expectancy. So charitable, such as tax subsidies, have been shown to have a positive spillover onto health. And this is why research of this nature would show up in the Wall Street Journal, where the study did demonstrate that those larger tax subsidies in response to charitable donations did have a positive impact on health. The study concluded that a 1% increase in tax rate subsidy for charitable giving could produce a 0.1% increase in health index. So the positive relationship between charitable giving and self-reported health status, as the donation amount increases, health status in fact improves. And this may be another public health measure our government could consider to make us more healthy by giving us incentive to participate in charitable giving. Another body of evidence for the positive: 5 reasons why it's critical to follow your heart. And this can strike us in very uncomfortable ways, because we have examples, I think all of us, in our lives where we chose not to follow our hearts, and probably for reasons of practicality or perhaps fear. So intuition and practicing the nudge imperative. We know intuition gets sharper with more use. Humans are a radar. They get sharper with use. Intuition gives brilliance sometimes when logic and rational thought fails. We all know that regret is bad. The path you envision is in fact the happiest one. By following intuition, we avoid the what ifs later in life. Regret is one of the worst emotions we can experience. By following the nudge imperative, by following our intuition, we can gain unexpected respect and admiration from those around us. There's the practice of honoring who you are, the courage to swim upstream, and failing to follow the nudge imperative or to follow intuition can in fact catch up with us. The path of least resistance does not necessarily get easier. We can avoid numbness and complacency if we follow our own strongest tendencies in the first place, avoid the nagging feeling that something is amiss. It's not too late to stop, be still, take stock, listen to the inner voice, and adjust our trajectories. There's acute clarity about both who you are and where you are when we follow the nudge imperative. We can be clear and unapologetic in our sense of purpose, be open and expectant with ordinary encounters. Very ordinary things can become deeply meaningful when we are coming from a place of our deepest intuition. And that clarity and focus can improve the happiness and animate those around us. This is a very interesting article published by Natalie Dixon, who presently is the director of the Strategic Design MBA at Philadelphia University. She discusses for us 3 types of intuition. There is ordinary intuition, which is very instinctual; expert intuition, which is a trained response; and then strategic intuition, which can be defined as a flash of insight. So Natalie Dixon says, "I am so happy that I decided to study anthropology and Africana studies those years ago. No one ever had to tell me to work harder, get up earlier, or stay later. And that lens continues to serve me well in my work today. When you follow the internal nudge, you develop a magnetic energy and opportunities really do come to you. You might say it's a practice that could save your life." So most advisors may say studying anthropology and Africana studies aren't exactly a practical choice. Maybe you should do something else that is more practical, gives you a better chance of getting a job. Here's an individual who says, "By following my strong intuition that this was, in fact, the best path for me, I arrived at a career position in which I am maximally satisfied and feel like my own horizons are the greatest and most appealing." And finally, the mind-body connection has been studied in the context of increased longevity. It's okay to be old if you feel good. Older people who feel young are less likely to die. So here's data from the English Longitudinal Study on Aging. Over 6,000 elderly people, or those age above 52, enrolled in 2004 to 2009, followed for 99 months, and those subjects were asked the question, "How old do you feel you are?" The actual age of the participants was 65.8 years. The average self-perceived age was 56.8 years. So 70% felt that they were at least 3 years younger, 26% felt that they were about their actual age, and only 5% felt that they were 1 year older than they actually were. 12,066 of the volunteers died during the course of the study, but deaths were not evenly distributed. Mortality rates showed that 24.6 of those who felt older had passed, compared to 18.5% who felt their actual age, compared to only 14.3% of those who felt much younger than their actual age. And this study was controlled for health problems such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, arthritis, depression, for behavioral factors including smoking, drinking, spending time engaged in social activities. It controlled for gender, ethnicity, education, and wealth. The risk of death during the study was 41% higher for those who felt older versus those who felt younger, teaching us that if we genuinely feel younger than we are, this positive feeling is in fact associated with our improved longevity. A younger self-image may help memory as we age. Those who felt older scored 25% lower on memory and cognitive tests compared to those who felt younger. The association between younger subjective age, better memory, executive functioning was independent, again, of gender, education, achievement, mental status, and chronic diseases. So again, those who felt older scoring worse on memory, those who feel younger scoring better on memory, better on cognitive tests, meaning that self-perception of being youthful is protective and improving the performance of individuals through a strong mind-body connection. And in fact, personality traits of the centenarians have been studied. There are 4 large centenarian studies that have been conducted so far: Georgia, Judish, Tokyo, Swedish. 4 personality traits from those studies have been identified in those who are thriving, living well between 100 years of age. So what are the 4 personality secrets of centenarians? And then you can ask yourself, do you have the right personality to live to be 100? And those 4 traits were found to be: number 1, easygoing; number 2, optimistic; number 3, love to laugh; and number 4, outgoing. Now, these traits might be partially due to genes, but they're also highly influenced by everyday actions and choices in life that can positively shape your personality. So you can choose your personality traits, and those personality traits can then go on to impact your longevity and the quality of life that you experience during your increased longevity. So do you have the right personality to live to be 100? We know that 1 in every 4,400 persons in the United States lives to be 100. And living to 100 is not determined by lucky genes. Only 25% of longevity is, in fact, genetic, and we learned this from the Danish twin study. Most, or 75% of longevity, is in fact due to lifestyle choices. Lifestyle is affected by the personality we choose to put forward each day. Personality establishes our priorities, our stress level, our mindset, our relationships, and much more. We can adopt the right personality traits for the greatest longevity, improve our chances of living well to age 100 and beyond. So the 4 personality secrets of centenarians: what is it about these traits? For those who are easygoing, we know that stress and anxiety really do age us. High stress shortens telomeres. It's degrading the quality of our DNA, of our genetic information, by as much as 10 years of life. That is high stress. So by being easygoing, we avoid these high stress situations. Being laid back is associated with healthier DNA and improved longevity. Second, being optimistic. Optimists are likely to eat right and to exercise regularly. They believe they will live longer and that they ought to take care of themselves, and as a result, optimists live up to 8 years longer because of the lifestyle choices they make and because of that very positive mindset. Those living to 100 laugh often. Laughter is well known for physiological, psychological, social, spiritual, and quality of life benefits. People who regularly laugh are at lower risk for heart attacks, for example, the number 1 killer in our society today. And number 4 personality trait, being outgoing, making friends and forming meaningful relationships. Relationships keep our mood elevated and our stress levels lower, and are strongly associated with improved longevity. So what tips can we make for adopting these very beneficial personality traits that can help us with longevity. And the study suggests, number one, to adopt a 10-year perspective. Ask yourself, does this really matter in 10 years? And if not, you can just let it go. We should eliminate the clutter in our lives to help us be more easygoing. Learn to say no to many good but non-essential things. When you say yes, you are in fact saying no to something else, so be very careful about what you say yes to. Have less on your plate, feel less overwhelmed, less frazzled as a longevity trait. Number 3, the 5-minute gratitude journal to maintain optimism. Practice gratitude. This reinforces better times to come during difficult times, keeps us positive and attracted towards more optimal circumstances in our lives. And number 4, daily physical activity to maintain optimism. Exercise increases happiness, it reduces stress, it boosts feel-good hormones and endorphins in our brain, such as serotonin and dopamine, improves our sense of well-being, and exercise helps us to relax. Number 5, as a recommendation, spend more time with children. Leave your serious focus behind and engage in silly play. Learn to laugh more to improve that longevity trait. You can watch comedies to laugh more. Recall that 90% of people also feel shy. This will help us to be more outgoing. Keep it in mind to your advantage. Confidently reach out to make a meaningful connection with others who are more than likely too shy and bashful to make that connection towards you. And have the objective to make a new friend each day, to be more outgoing. Having that goal really does change your outlook. You watch for chances to meet someone new, and when you do, you can really listen to that individual, to what they are saying, find a connection to your own life, make a new friend. Even if you can't find a new person every day, have that perspective to look and seek out new associations and take advantage of those opportunities when they do in fact present themselves. So to summarize the mind-body connection, we know that the mind-body connection is real, it's powerful, it is transformational, and it is probably underutilized in promoting our own health and well-being. We considered large bodies of evidence, electromagnetic energy coming from each of our hearts that changes you, it changes others around you. We discussed the broken heart syndrome or Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. We discussed conditioning using the Pavlov dog experiments to illustrate this. We discussed the placebo effect, the effects of optimism and heart health. We identified the best positive emotion to be that of awe. We discussed charitable giving, intuition, which recruits our faculties and generates more vitality within our well-being and within our bodies, which animates us and predisposes us to success and probably optimal mental states, which we know are associated with longevity. We talked about divorce and heart attacks, depression and heart disease, job loss and mental health. We talked about how feeling young can help us live long, and the personality traits of centenarians, those people who have lived well to age 100 and beyond. And we have implications of the mind-body connection. We talk about congruency of your internal state, having positive feelings towards yourself. You should be your greatest ally in the maintenance of your own health, as well as positive feelings towards others and the effects that those can have on the people around us in improving their well-being. We need to be positive despite our material circumstances. Your inner experience shapes your outer world. Your inner experience shapes those around you. Let's fill ourselves with positive emotions. Those are strong feelings of love, gratitude, inspiration, compassion, forgiveness, and awe to maximize and harness our mind-body connection for our own best advantage.